Hello and welcome to another Tea Break Talk. And today I want to chat with you about audio. And we are going to upgrade the audio in the van that's behind us. So this is a T6.1, as you can see, and the current audio is just standard. And we're going to put some Alpine speakers in it, so the upgraded mid and tweeter. And we're going to show you how we do that in a second. And I think everyone can benefit from the upgrade of the audio. We'll all agree that VW makes some really, really great vans, but do they make great speakers? I'd probably say no. They're concentrating on the package as a whole, aren't they? So they're trying to bring you a really good van that suits everybody, from a fleet customer to, sort of like a normal retail or, non-commercial environment. And of course, we're always going to compromise on that. So we can change these ourselves relatively cheaply. And this is a really good upgrade of getting some really good sound into your cabin. So this is the kit that we're going to be using today. It's the Alpine tweeter and mid upgrade. This is specifically for the 6.1. So as you can see on the box, it's got the little brushed aluminium tweeter that goes in the A pillar and quite a substantially bigger, more heavy duty, nicer build mid speaker as well to go in the door card itself.
So what's in the box? So here we have your instructions. And then there's your two door speakers, so your mids, so they're very nice. And then underneath there is your tweeters and that lovely aluminium brushed finish. So yeah, really nice.
Okay, first up, let's get this door card off and reveal the speaker that's behind it.
So here we are with the door card mainly removed and just dropped down to the side there. So if we look at the inner of the door, you'll see there's two little pads from the factory that stop a little bit of the vibration and noise, but they're not really going to do a lot. So let's get some decent soundproofing in there and make this so it sounds great and it keeps the speaker sound inside the van. It is worth noting as well that you may need to decrease the inside of the panel. Don't go too mad, because obviously you don't want to decrease down the very bottom there. I will always leave the very bottoms of the door. They have been waxed from the factory. You'll see a little bit of the residual wax on the inside there as it meets that curve and then going down onto the inside of that door. Yeah, leave that as it is. So here we go, it's a quick look at the door and you can see what we've just done. We've added some sound deadening pads to the inside of it. So we see two extremes here. We see those that haven't got any on them at all and just use the factory pads. And then we see some that are like massively overkill. Dare I suggest that this is more than enough for any sort of standard audio setup. We're just stopping that panel from resonating. To be fair, you don't even need to go as far as what we have done with this panel. But it's just nice, it finishes it off. We've got access to it, so therefore it's easy to do. And it doesn't use that many sheets to get it all kitted out on the inside. A lot of people will do this crash protection bar as well, but there's no point in doing that. That's a double... sort of not double skinned, it's like a double section which is then bonded to the van door skins. So it's like it's never going to vibrate anyway because it's got a massive layer of bond in between those two pieces. So it's very unlikely you're going to get resonance from that. So going around it with the sound deadening pads like what we've done inside underneath the very lower edge, and then obviously inside on the top, as you can see there. Use a little roller. Be careful, obviously, you don't go too mental, and therefore you don't want to damage the outer panel. But obviously you do want to give it a little bit of a roller on there, just to get it so it adheres on there really nicely, and of course then gets it nice and smooth. But that door sound deadened, and the difference between the two will be quite significant. So once we've got it all back in place and the speaker in, I'll show you the difference as we just sort of tap on the panel between this one and the one that we haven't done yet, and you'll be able to compare the noise. One other thing to quickly consider as well, before you go bolting up the whole door card and putting everything back into position as well, is like drill the rivets out for the speaker. And the reason I say do it before you secure it back on is because inevitably the rivet bits will end up down on the inside of the door, and no one's going to want to hear them rattle. So yeah, do them. And then if they do fall down where you can't get and you can't easily grab it, just use a hoover with the little thin nozzle on it, and then that will then suck them out, and you ain't got to listen to them rattle in your door. So we're nearly done. We've just attached the new speaker spacer. Obviously put the speaker on and run the wiring up through. If I quickly unplug that, you'll see. What's really important with these is, if you can see the little terminals inside, you can't quite see them. Anyway, you must make sure that they push right the way through until you hear a click. So then that way you know that the terminals that are coming from the speaker are up and they're going to engage correctly with these terminals that are coming out from your van. It's one that we've had to rectify a couple of times now on people that have done it themselves. It's a really easy mistake to make. You think they've gone in, but they haven't. Unless you hear them click and you've got them round the right way, they are not in. But it will become very obvious if they're not seated correctly, because obviously what will happen is the vibration will just rattle the little terminals loose, and then before you know it, you will not have any sound coming out of that speaker. But there we go. This is on, sound deadened underneath, speaker in position. So I'm just going to get the door card back on now, and then it's time to do the A-pillars. So yeah, looking good. So here's the A-pillar out of the van, quite simple to do. So yeah, remove that, and then you'll see that's where we're going to be putting the new tweeter. So on the back here, you'll see it's got several plastic welds that we need to do a combination of cutting them off and using the little grinding tool just to remove some of those plastic welded pieces. Okay, so you can see we've removed this. We didn't need the Nurlerizer, as we like to call it. It all trimmed off pretty easy. Most of the time they do, so just take your time, use a sharp knife. Yeah, and you'll be fine. You'll get in there. I mean, not that any of this bit matters anyway, because it's just going to be filed under B for bin, but obviously I'll try not to break it. The most important thing is you don't obviously stab through this bit of trim around here. But again, this bit's going, isn't it? So you don't really need to worry about that. So what you should have now is quite a nicely trimmed piece round here with now no grill in it at all. So yeah, looking pretty good for now, getting the Alpine one in there. So we've got the replacement grill here, which is pretty easy to fit in. So we need to separate that so it goes either side of our A-pillar. So if we separate that from in there, yes, you should see there's 3 components. Also be careful with this bit, you don't want to damage it. Here's the nice aluminium grill. Here we go, coming off now, there. So there's your backing. There's your trim that's going to go around the front. So we're going to start by putting this bit in here, like so, and then finishing it on the front side with the aluminium trim and this piece of plastic locker. Right, so we've just put the little tweeter in. They're in a separate box here. As you can see, they come nicely wrapped and protected. So they're all in a nice little packaging, and they've got a hard protector over the tweeter dome so it doesn't get damaged. It's a nice little touch. So yeah, that's clicked into place in here. Wiring going down. So yeah, we're ready to reinstall this. Looking great, isn't it? And I mean, you can see why we like them. It's such a nice bit of kit. They do look really swish. So let's get this back in the van. So yeah, I think you'll join me in saying that how much nicer do they look than the original ones. And the noise difference as well is really good. I think for such a modest upgrade, it is just speakers. You know, we've not put any sub in or anything else like that. They are really, really good. Nice and clear, punchy enough, without going too overboard. So really lovely little upgrade. And yeah, that is the only bit you're going to see. You don't see the other speakers through the door cards, so you're just going to see these in the A pillars. But I think they look classy. They do look really, really nice. There are lots of options out there if you want to consider other speakers for your upgrades in your van. If you're chasing like big sounds and you really want, you know, that high level audio with like subs and things like that, then yes, there is a different route you could go down instead of fitting these Alpines. But I think these Alpines are a really, really nice upgrade to the standard factory radio. They look really good. They're really simple and easy to fit, and with a couple of little mods like fitting the sound deadening, they really do provide quite a punchy bit of audio for not having to have a sub. So the difference in feel of quality is leaps and bounds above what it is from the factory by the sound deadening that we've added. So not only have you kept all that noise on the inside of the van, but you've also created a more quality feel as well. And there's nothing that oozes, I think, more quality than when you shut a door and it just goes thud. And I think you'll find that when you do the sound deadening on your van and you add it to the doors, that really satisfying thud that you get when you shut the doors is worth it, if not for anything else. But it does bring a lot of other benefits as well. So well worth doing, and the quality is just leaps and bounds above a non-sound deadened door. So really worth it. So a quick little thud test, obviously our key sort of comparison, because the rest of the van has been done because it's got a camping conversion in it as well. So I don't know if you can pick that up on the microphone, but it is really a nice thud. Whereas a non-sound deadened panel, because obviously you're never going to do the wing, a lot more tinny, and yeah, definitely not as... So you do that. Yeah, definitely. You can tell the difference straight away. There we go. Give us a thumbs up if you like the video, and I hope you found that interesting, and you'll have a go at fitting your speakers as well. So we'll see you in the next one. Thanks very much.